What is up, folks? Today we're going to be talking about the different scams in Las Vegas that you're going to see from the Las Vegas Strip to downtown and how you can avoid those.
And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.
Now cue that intro.
Hey there, everyone. This is Matt Bridger, and you are listening to the Vegas Confessions podcast.
Didn't we go to my favorite dive bar before that? We went to Double Down.
Double Down Saloon. Yeah, we had some ash juice.
I am all about Eskin. Yeah, baby.
You guys need to go check that room. There's like a dead guy in the bed. And the lady at the counter says, "Well, we'll call housekeeping." Like, housekeeping?
Jay's never met an asshole he didn't like. Shout out to the guy at third base at the blackjack table I was at last, who was obviously trying to keep a high-low count, but was mouthing the numbers as the cards were being turned over.
Be careful what you say, because we can have you whacked.
Hey, I'm Nicky Firmich, and you're listening to the Vegas Confessions podcast.
So we've been to Las Vegas a lot, and we've seen a lot of these different scams take place in front of us, happen to different people. We fell for a couple of them. So let's cover a few different scams that people would see typically when they go to Las Vegas. Before we jump into the scams, I do want to mention I have two rule of thumbs. It's always avoid everybody when possible, mind your business and keep going, which usually I have headphones on, so that usually makes it easier to do. But I also never pull my wallet out in public.
Right.
On the Strip, never. Especially in front of performers, and we'll get to that in just a second. So the first one we're going to cover is characters, performers, showgirls. So Mickey and Minnie are going to reel you in, and they're going to tell you, hey, come and take a picture, and you're going to think nothing of it. Oh, cool picture, right? The Vegas Strip and everything. Well, what's going to happen is once you take that picture, afterwards they're going to tell you, hey, that's $20. And a lot of them can get aggressive. Where it gets interesting is downtown versus the Strip. Like, so some of the showgirls, right? So if you take pictures with them, typically they'll tell you up front, but sometimes they'll tell you afterwards,
Right.
hey, you know, I charge $20 or it's $20 donation or whatever it may be. And then on the Strip, they'll also be like, hey, I charge $40. So again, if you want that picture with those booties in there, it's going to run you a little money. Just know that going forward.
And how busy it is and the time of year. And, you know, if it's really slow wherever you're at, they're going to take any donation they can get.
Right.
But if there is a lot of people rolling through there, a lot of activity, that's their prime time to make money.
So one thing I've learned with all of these performers, everybody on the Strip, if you walk up and offer them $5, $10 just to take a picture, they'll do it.
Right.
So again, just take that just know that going forward that they're going to accept anything you offer. Again, a lot of these folks are going to tell you up front, hey, I take donations, I take tips. And again, they're good with $5, $10. But if you don't ask afterwards, what these folks like to do, they like to trap tourists.
Right.
Especially when they hear people with accents or talking a different language. They like to trap them in, get them in there, then afterwards, you know, hassle them for money.
Right.
And just kind of know that going into this, because that's a popular one that you're going to see, and you're going to see performers everywhere you go.
Right.
So the next one to cover is going to be the Las Vegas sign. Now, of course, the Las Vegas sign, we've mentioned here a lot. It's a must, right?
Yeah, it was fun.
Now, something that you're typically going to see there is a line. There's always a line, and especially when it's 100 plus degrees outside, the last thing you want to do is wait in a line of, 50 people.
Right.
What I've learned from different people's vlogs is you don't actually have to wait in that line. So people tend to go up to the right or to the left and take their picture at an angle
Right.
and take off. So again, that's just something to know going into it. And the other thing I wanted to cover will be the people that are taking pictures there. So there's two types of people that are there. One's an Elvis impersonator, and the other one, he's a photographer with the vest and everything. Looks real official, right?
When we went, we got him.
Yeah, we did.
We didn't see the Elvis guy.
I did. I went another time early in the morning, and Elvis was there, right? And it was funny because he was taking a break, and he was sitting on his brand new Shelby Mustang, taking a break, drinking water. I'm like, oh, okay. The Las Vegas sign is doing you right. So, again, these guys will be out there. They're not paid by the city or anything, but they accept donations as well. And those guys are really easy to work with because, again, they're $5, $10. They take a few pictures, different angles, have you do a few different poses, and they're really nice. They don't pressure you. They don't hassle. Just know going into it, in Vegas, you're going to tend to tip more, right?
For everything. Vegas is the tip-driven city.
Yeah.
Basically.
100%.
Whatever you do, people are going to expect a tip. I mean, whether it's your driver, whether it's your Uber, whether it's your concierge. I mean, that's how these people live.
Yeah. 100%.
You know?
So the other one I wanted to talk about, and this is a popular one, will be taxis. Now, we've never been, long hauled, but it's a thing. So what I'm hearing is that if you take a taxi straight from the airport, and if you're going through tunnels, you're being long hauled. So another key thing was when you're just getting in the cab, never ever mention it's your first time, because you're liable to get long hauled. So just kind of know that going into it. Again, taxis and ride shares right now it's typically better to take taxis.
Right,
it's
that's
cheaper.
what I've been reading as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of surcharging going on in Vegas with the ride shares.
Uber and Lyft.
Right. So people are using taxis, so that's right now. But typically, Lyft and Uber are the way to go. It's a lot cheaper.
Pre-COVID,
right.
It was always the way to go. It was always cheaper, and there was a lot available.
Right.
Now during COVID, and even, this is kind of post-COVID.
Yeah.
It's still running really high to do Uber or Lyft when you go anywhere.
Well, and what made it even more interesting is for a while they weren't doing surcharges, so nobody wanted to work. So then when they brought it back, everybody was back on board with working again. So just know that going into it. Plus, they have the new loop opened up. We haven't done it yet.
Right.
And I'm interested in trying it.
Do you find out pricing on that?
Yeah, it's like $10 to different
That's not
areas.
bad.
Yeah. So I'm interested in trying that, and So one thing that I will be interested to talk about in the future with you is, with this new loop opening up, do you think it's going to decimate the Uber and Lyft industry?
And I don't think it'll decimate it because Vegas is so popular of a destination. It's always that busy. It's going to alleviate, I think, some of the demand for Uber and Lyft. So it should be better for the consumer, in my opinion, because there's not going to be that demand, so they can't charge as much.
Yeah.
And then it hopefully it'll spread things out so it's not so congested everywhere you go.
Well, and they're saying in the future, so right now they just announced that they're extending it to downtown. So they're going to have stops at Fremont, Street Experience, Slotzilla, the Plaza, and the Garage Mahal, and an extension to Allegiant Stadium from downtown.
Yeah.
But in the future, they want to do it out in the city. So, people can get to work and stuff, which would be really neat.
Yeah,
so
I think
again,
so too.
It's interesting to see everything, but just right now, just know that with everything going on, taxis are the better option. They're a little cheaper. Should just know that going forward.
They're trying to bring a little of New York to Vegas, basically.
Right.
Their own little subway system.
So as long as surcharging is not going on, use the lifts. But if they are happening, look to use a taxi.
Bottom line, stay educated. Like when you're coming out of the airport, I would see what the taxis are charging and see what your Ubers and Lyft are charging, because they're definitely going to be probably different prices right now.
100%. So let's talk about an interesting one, which I know you're going to like. The timeshare people. So typically walking around, they like to trigger couples, especially when they see couples walking around. We get hit up by these people a lot.
Has anybody ever got duped by those?
Yeah. So let us tell you a little about what's going to happen. These people are going to walk up to you. They typically have a suit. They're genuinely on the strip, but they're downtown too, and not as much. And so,
hey, interested in the show?
Yeah, they're
free
gonna
show
walk
tickets.
Up,
we got free stuff.
They're gonna walk up to you, be your best friend, and then they're also gonna offer you dinner and all this extra stuff, right? If you go check out this seminar.
And we were younger, more naive. We're like,
We're like, yeah, we want to check out a show.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we went. And what happens is they have you go to these seminars where they're doing timeshares for different properties. So the one we went to was Westgate. We ended up there 6-7 hours.
Yeah, they said 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours,
it'll be real
it's quick turnaround.
So if you're not interested, they shuttle you back to the strip, send you on your way, give you a little something still, but nothing,
But they're so goddamn convincing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Well, and they offer, the more you're interested, I'll stay for lunch. And then,
And we're just suckers and we have a hard time saying no.
No. Okay. So we're going to keep going. And so what happened is we ended up there. And so that's what I realized is, you know what? We'll never ever do that again because, yes, we like to visit often, but that took so much time away from our day.
Right.
And if you have stuff planned and you're only in town for a couple of days.
And literally, we were brand new. When it comes down to it, like, as much as I play like the last few years, I've never had to pay for a hotel room.
Yeah.
So, like, you know,
Yeah.
if you're a player, there's no point in getting a timeshare there because you're not going to pay anyways.
Yeah.
You know? And it was just an experience. And if you haven't experienced it, don't fall for it.
And this is
Please don't fall for it.
And this is why I wanted to do this video, because we've been pretty frequently. And I counted since the pandemic has started, we've went 10 times. And, you know, little by little.
You've gone 10 times.
Yes. Well, little by little, I'm seeing these... I'm seeing everything come back to normal. The timeshare people, another topic which we'll be talking about in a second.
A couple of times that we went, like during COVID, there was not even like timeshare people out there. I mean, it was COVID, like we're not shuttling people anywhere.
So
stay away.
What I want you to tell them is explain to them how you're gonna avoid. You know, how you're going to get them to avoid you right away and instantly not be interested.
I try to ignore them, but Julie will be like, we're locals. And they instantly stop.
Yeah.
Instantly stop. Okay, have a good day. And they're not rude.
No.
They're not rude. No. But that's their cue, like,
yeah.
Oh, not getting them. If you say you're a local, just keep walking. Or, oh, my flight leaves in a couple hours.
Yes.
If you can't say you're a local, you can say you're on your way out of town right now.
You've actually used that one.
I have used it a couple of times,
that was a good one. Yeah. So,
and they leave you alone. They're not rude.
No,
they're
not rude. But again,
they're convincing. And they can...
If you're there for a certain amount of time, the last thing you want to do is get stuck at one of these.
Right.
And again, they're not rude. It's they take care of you.
They're just convincing and they're overly nice.
They're
and
salespeople. It's 100% salespeople.
On the edge of pushy, but super nice.
Well, and
I'm not going to say anybody was ever rude.
They are making a commission on this, so they're
this is
eager
their
to
livelihood.
get you there.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So again, I'm not hating on them. Just know this stuff going into it. Like, hey, if these people approach you, like they approach us all the time. Again, they're looking for couples.
And we kept the timeshare probably for like 6-8 months before finally I was like paying, going, we're never going to use this.
You know how many times we used it?
Zero.
Yeah, zero.
You know, I think we wasted about $2,000. Yeah. We gave them $2,000, never stayed there.
Gambled that.
Yeah. And it was like years later, they were still calling like, hey, do you want to get that back? I'm like, no, we're good. Yeah. You know?
So, again, we just wanted to let you know about these people. Again, they're not aggressive.
Money.
Yeah. Save you money, save you time.
Yeah.
That's the bigger one for me. So, again, just know a little bit about them going into it. The next one I want to mention is the 3-card Monty, the shell game people. So, again, this is going to be a scam you'll see take place on bridges and between casinos, okay? So I have a funny little story about this one.
Not funny, it's a scary story.
Well, yeah. So I'm walking in between Aria and Cosmo. And when I'm walking through there, I see this going on. Well, in the moment of this happening, if you guys are new to the channel, I do vlogs. So I was in the middle of vlogging with the camera, and this was happening. So what happens is there's going to be a group of people around one guy who's got a little board, 3 different caps or 3 different cards. There's a ball underneath or whatever it may be. They want you to pick a certain card. And, you know, they switch stuff around and they're real quick, sleight of hand. So what happens is you're reeled in walking by seeing these people win and lose money real easy. And you're like, oh, I can do this. Because all they're doing is, you know, switching things
following
around.
The card.
You follow, pick the ball. So find the ball. So people see this happening. Well, as I'm walking by, immediately they're like, hey, no recording. And I'm like, yo, whatever. I'm recording. I'm minding my business. Now, another one jumps in my face. Hey, he said no recording. And so I look over and I realize the whole group is looking at me. And I just clicked and me being an idiot and no filter, I'm like, oh, so all of you are a part of this scam. Immediately I was like, oh shit, right? So I start walking towards the casino to Cosmo because I knew this is not gonna go good. There's about 10 people there. So the lady that was playing is now like, okay, the guy hands her back the money. I see everything going on and I'm like, you know what? I'm walking. Well, these guys get aggressive. If you're watching their game or if you're catching on to anything they're doing, just know that everybody in that circle is in on
working together.
And so let's say you win a couple of times because it's easy. It's an easy game, right? You can win. Anybody can beat it. So you win a couple of times. And the guy tells you, hey, well, let's play bigger. So once you start betting bigger, what happens is the real sleight of hand comes in, which they're really good at a lot of times. They do this for a living. Now, mind you, they're hustlers. So then they're really good at flipping the board around while also moving this around. The last minute, everybody's going to start telling you, oh, it's this one and confusing you. So you get off track. Next thing you know, you're asked out hundreds of dollars
Right.
just from walking from one casino to the other. So again, know that this is a scam. These guys are very aggressive. Again, I've seen other people whose vlogs have been recorded where these guys, get very aggressive, especially if you're recording, because they're doing something illegal. Do not take part in this. They are all in on it. Just know that going into it. So the next one I want to mention is CD hawkers. People selling CDs on the strip. That one's a popular one. That one happens to me a lot, especially because I'm always wearing headphones.
Yeah.
So somebody will walk up to you, hey, bro, how you doing? And,
Want to listen to this? Listen to this.
check this CD out, right?
It's my new jam.
So one time, I have it on camera. Oh, I hope I find this video clip. This one guy offers me his earphone. And he's like, you remember this? So yes. So he offers me his earphone. He's like, listen to my music, right? And I have my own earphones. And so he's holding it and showing me to grab it, right? And I look and it's full of wax. And I'm like, no, dude, I'm not listening. So then he offers, hey, dude, my CD, I make music. I'm from Vegas. Help me out, support me. It's only $10 and blah, blah, blah. Well, my thing is, hey, I don't even own a CD player. Everything's on our phone, the car,
downloaded.
We don't own CDs no more. We don't do that no more. So again, once you start saying that, they usually leave you alone. But again, if you're at all interested.
Oh, they push.
Yes.
Yes.
So what happens is they will put the CD in your hand.
Right.
And once they get that CD in your hand, they make you feel obligated to pay for it. And you can try and give this back, and they're going to be like, no, you took it. I want the money now. I want the money. These guys can also get aggressive.
Right.
So just know about these guys too. And they're typically, 4 or 5 dudes around. One guy's out of the group offering different CDs to people. So it's just something to know going into this one too. Again, these are a lot of things you will see daily happening in Vegas.
Right.
So the other one I wanted to bring up to you guys to let you guys know that's been happening lately is the extra fees. Now, Scott, our buddy Vital Vegas, has mentioned, CNF fees at some of the Caesars restaurants. They have this extra charge where you don't have to pay for it. If you notice it and you're like, hey, I don't want to pay for this, especially if you let the server know, hey, that's your tip right there. That's part of your tip. They take it off. It's something that Caesars is trying to do and just trying to sneak on and add this extra fee. There's another one that's called the RRF fee, which is like a COVID relief fee for restaurants or something like that. So again, these you don't have to pay for. Just know that going into it. And there's another one we'll mention.
The window seating fee.
At restaurants.
At restaurants. A lot of restaurants. And it's only been since COVID.
Yeah.
Because we've been in restaurants like at Oscars or Giada. That was never even like an option. You could request window seating if they had it available. They gave it to you. Now, if you want window seating, they're charging like $20-$25 to get a seat by the window with a good view.
Yeah.
And it's only been since COVID hit.
Yeah.
Pre-COVID, that was never something that happened.
I think it's getting as high up to $50 up at the Strat. So
yeah.
I know
just have a scenic view and Paris too.
Yeah. So just know these charges are existing. And they're popping up. So again, just something to be aware of that's going on, typically on the Strip. Not something you're going to worry about downtown.
No.
The next one we're going to mention is 000 roulette and
6-5 blackjack.
6-5 blackjack. Okay, so what it narrows down to with these different versions of the game is there's better versions of the game to play. Yeah, double's better, but there's also a single zero version.
The Plaza has single.
That's right.
Single zero roulette,
right.
and they pride themselves on that, Jonathan, right?
They really like
Good
that.
stuff.
So,
because your odds are better. If you love playing roulette, you might as well go somewhere where the odds are the best in your favor, correct?
So the other one we're going to mention is 6-5 blackjack. There's a better version to be playing like over at Ellis Island.
It's 3-2 blackjack.
Which is a better version. You get paid better on your blackjacks. In the long run is what it narrows down to.
The game is exactly the same everywhere except casinos that have tables that are 3-2 blackjack. For every $3 you bet, you're going to get, for every $2 you bet, you're going to get $3 on a blackjack. Whereas if you're playing 6-5 blackjack, you have to bet $5 to get $6 on a blackjack. So you're just not getting as much on the blackjack. So, and in Vegas, you need every little inch you can get. Every little percentage that can work in your favor. That's kind of what you're looking for. Unless you're just there to have a great time and you can
blow money. Yeah.
And if you're purely going for the entertainment value, then you're just going to sit at a table and play.
Right.
But if you are either an amateur gambler or a seasoned gambler, you're going to look for any little edge that you can get in Vegas, because you like to have fun, but you really like to win.
Right.
You know?
That's it. That's why we gamble, right? The next one I will mention is strip club promoters that'll be all over the strip and be like, hey guys, you guys want to go check out a strip club?
We've also gotten duped with that one.
Yeah, and not of the best place either. So,
because I'm a hustler, baby.
So we went to Hustlers on this one. So what happens is they, again, best friend situation. Hey, how's your guys' trip? You guys want to check out a strip club? And we were like, hey,
sure.
Why not? Yeah, sure, why not? And again, so we got in the shuttle and go to the strip club.
Yeah, free ride in a limo, blah, blah, blah.
Free ride, no cover charge. You're going to get in, they're going to take care of you. Everything you need, tell them I sent you, we got you. You get down there, one thing you're going to take into consideration is you're going to tip the driver.
$60 for you to get in, right?
Yeah, so you're going to tip the driver, and you're going to pay the cover to get in, which is usually
I didn't have to pay.
$50. Yeah, usually females don't have to pay, and the guys have to pay double.
There was a 2-drink minimum, and they were $20 a drink, and the drink was tasted like shit.
So you get there, you have to pay the cover. You're going to tip the driver, and you got to pay the 2-drink minimum, which is usually $50. So you're already in the $100 just by getting there. So this is going to happen at majority of strip clubs. You're going to go back, and you're going to get a lap dance, and if you're not, content with the lap dance and you want more, they're going to offer you to go back and do more. So
don't fall for it on the strip. Like, if you like strip clubs, we went to one with our friends, and it was like, it was in awesome. Henderson or something. It was like 20 minutes away. Our friends knew about it, but it was totally kick back.
Yeah, chill. Just know going into it, there are different clubs in town, and another one I visited recently was Centerfolds. Really clean, same thing. Cool atmosphere, real chill. Again, there's plenty of different versions, but just know this stuff going into it. There's going to be a lot of, hey, upselling, and hey, let's do extra in the back. So just know that.
If they're trying to pull you in off the strip, though, that's usually the sign, like, wait.
Yeah.
At least look it up.
Yeah.
Look it up, or talk to people that have been to that facility and liked it, or gave a good review, or gave you some kind of insight, so you're not going in blind. Because we don't want to get you robbed.
Right.
And not literally robbed, but, leaving there $1,000, $2,000 in, going, what the fuck just happened? It wasn't really worth it.
It also leads into the next topic, which I'll be talking about, which would be trick rolling and prostitution. Since we're on the subject of being robbed. So trick rolling.
I like that.
Yeah, trick rolling. So this one is something that pops up because apparently what happens is once the deal's made, you go up to the room and you go to freshen up in the restroom, you come out, all your stuff's gone, including the woman, you never see her again. You've been robbed for everything. Now, this is not legal in Las Vegas. Now, there are brothels, which we'll be covering in the future. What happens with these is you go back up to the room and you freshen up again. There's always like a freshen up thing. You go to the restroom, they send a text out, somebody's outside the hotel, they end up in your room by the time you come back out.
Some guys want to spray it, some guys want to pump it up. I mean,
I don't know.
Something happens. If you got to freshen up and you can't just
not my cup
jump
of tea.
to it. I hope not. Shit.
But seriously.
No more trips.
Yeah, right? No more trips by yourself. No, but that's a thing that's happening. And it's happening in Las Vegas, and there's not like they can report this. You know what I mean?
Because Las Vegas is known as what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, the city of sin. So the conception in many people's minds is, I'm going to go crazy. Yeah. So then you let down some of those guards that normally you might have more common sense. Yeah. But for some reason, when people get to Vegas, the common sense just flies out the door.
Now, the next topic, card slappers on the strip. What are these card slappers? So this is the term where these guys are slapping these cards, right? And they're handing out these cards. They typically have
boobies.
Yeah, they have
lots of boobies.
And what it is they're supposedly escorts that are going to go to your room. Okay? And 9 times out of 10, the person who ends up at your room
is not the person on the little card.
Yeah,
it's not the same person.
Right.
Or it's the same cards, and you'll see like the trucks drive by and says live girls.
Yeah.
Yes, those trucks, they're handing you these cards with this number saying, here you go. Yeah, A, it's not that girl that will show up.
Yeah, right.
Right? B, it's just like all these different girls with their boobs hanging out or like in the sexy lingerie. And every time we've gone, like, Julian, he'll take cards, and then the next guy that's offering him cards, he's like, "Here you go," and he hands the old cards that he got back to them, and they're like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Or I give them Vegas confessions cards.
Yeah,
I'm like, here, let's trade cards.
cards.
They're like, no, I don't want that. Well, come on, let's make a deal. I take one, you take. And
Well, this is not Pokemon. We are not card trading. But you know.
So again, with all of this stuff,
it doesn't hurt anybody to take the cards because you're just walking in there, handing them out, and that's their job. Yeah, and for a while it was fun.
Yeah, it's fun to give to friends.
They're not gonna scam you. It's that's all they're offering, and then they want you to call a number, and that's not the person.
They're not gonna chase you down. That was the point. If you
that's not the girl that's gonna show up for you.
Right. If they're not interested, if you're not interested, and they know that, they're not gonna bug you and keep following you. They're gonna let you go about your business, but. They do offer these cards. 9 times out of 10, the person on this card doesn't show up.
Side note on the scams, okay? The first time we went to Vegas, like, I'm just walking, doing my thing, and this guy's like, come here, to Julian, right? He's like, I got Coke, I got weed, whatever you want, right? And Julian's like, yeah, I'm like, why does anybody ever stop me and ask me for shit? If I want some shit, he's like, they know not to ask. I'm all...
You're the only person I know that would be offended because you didn't get offered drugs in Las Vegas.
I was a little offended, honestly. I'm like, really? Like,
even in all the trips we've won.
Yeah, I've never. Nobody's ever been like, hey, come here. Got something I think you'll like.
You need to up or down your game, one or the other.
I guess. I don't know.
The way to avoid all of these is, again, don't do it. Don't even bother.
Mind your business. Really, it's mind your business, especially on the strip because you have so many people that is their livelihood. They've become accustomed and they're experts on who to target.
Right.
You know what I mean?
They know when people are looking.
Yeah.
Especially laid out by themselves.
If you know what a grifter is, they're expert grifters. That's their deal. That's how they make their money. So, I mean... No diss on them, but we would like to make you more prepared if that is not what you're optioning for.
Right. Another one to cover is going to be the people who give you samples, lotions, makeups.
Oh,
hey,
I
come
hate
and try
those.
This. Okay.
I hate those. And they're super nice.
Oh, that's
right?
it.
Like,
yeah.
here, let me,
you
want to try
this?
this?
Say no. That's the problem.
That's my problem, yes. And so if I even, like, turn the direction, I'm a sucker, right? And I can't take the free sample and feel like, that was owed to me. Then I'm like, I feel like I have to buy something from them. And it's like fucking expensive. Like what? Like, oh, it's only $80 for this little 5 ounce, 5 ounces. I'm like, what?
But if you buy these bottles, so then it's upsell after upsell, and you walk out a couple $100.
So I mean, if you love that stuff, that's cool. And tell them to throw samples in the bag, and they will because that's what they have to give. Yeah. But if you have a problem saying no, like me, just. You do this, or you act like you don't hear him. Like, oh, on my way back, I just going to get my husband, or meeting somebody for breakfast, but on my way back. Yeah. You can tell them whatever you want. Just, I try to avoid eye contact if at all possible.
And they like to trigger the ladies, obviously. Like they go after the ladies all the time.
That's the one that target me. The drug dealers don't target me. The people to sell shit, they target me. She'll buy those. She'll buy that. She'll buy that. Damn.
This is a given one that I wanted to mention, okay, is most people know about this, especially if they go frequently. They know about a lot of these scams.
Yeah.
But the mini fridges in rooms, they have the sensors inside, and people don't know that a lot of the times if they take something out for a certain amount of time.
And they never used to have sensors. Like, in the olden days, even when they started stocking these mini fridges, they'd have a little card and say, like, $3 for this, $3 for that, blah, blah, blah. Some people would actually take the stuff out, put their stuff in for the weekend to keep it cold, and then like just restock the mini fridge when they left, right? Now there's sensors in a lot of these mini fridges that are stocked, and it says if you take something out for more than 30 seconds, you will be charged no matter what.
Another one we'll cover is phones on slot machines, purses being left on slot machines. Of course, we like to indulge in Vegas. We drink a little more. We tend to cut loose, right?
Yeah.
And we have valuable on us, especially, cash. So leaving those things on those slot machines can be crucial. So again, with those, keep the purses on your laps, keep the phones on you.
I'm really bad. Like, I don't really drink when I'm in Vegas. but I play the slots a lot, and I'm not as careful as I should be. And I know this. Like, I'll
like
just
this with a slot.
leave it. Yeah. And my mom actually did have this happen at our local casino here. It wasn't in Vegas, but she had her phone on her slot machine, her video poker machine, and she got up and moved down like 2 machines, and she, like 2 minutes later, she was like, oh yeah, my phone. Went back, it was already swiped.
Yeah.
She went and, you know, hotel security, they pulled it up on camera. They saw somebody swipe it and took off. They couldn't see or track them. And it was just, you know, it was my mom's fault because she left it on the machine. But, like, you know, especially if you're like one like me, I have like 10,000 pictures on my phone.
Yeah.
My phone is precious to me. And I don't have it like backed up on iTunes. So those pictures are precious things to me. Like, I can't lose my phone. So you really want to just be careful. You want to clutch things. You want to keep your purse zipped. If you're a woman, keep your purse zipped. When I walk on the strip, I try to keep it in front of me because you never know who's behind you or on the side of you. Professional pickpocketers are really good.
Okay.
And it only takes a second for them to, you know, and if you've flown in and you get your ID stolen, like, it presents a problem flying home, you know? You really want to be careful anywhere, but in Vegas, you know, there's so many people walking on the strip. You just really want to be careful, like, what is on your person.
So that's actually perfect because you lead into the 2 next topics, which is pickpockets and phones on slots.
Yeah.
So with the phone on slots thing, especially with people charging. Now, one that's common is when you have it sitting on the machine and you're playing, there's scams where people walk up on one side, ask you a question.
How's it going?
Somebody comes over, snatches your phone.
Or creates a diversion or something.
Gone.
Yeah.
Questions done being answered. You look back, your stuff's gone. So again, just keep your stuff on you as much as possible. That's the biggest suggestion.
Better to be
I
safe
have.
than sorry.
Right. And as you mentioned was the pickpockets. I'm one who's always with the camera and the gimbal up, right? So I'm always vulnerable in certain ways. And I always have this thought in the back of my head, like, hey, when I'm in big crowds on the strip, I always have a hand on my back pocket.
Right.
Fellas, if you have a wallet in your back pocket, I know you always have a purse, but I always walk with my hand on my wallet.
And if you can't do that, put your wallet in the front pocket. That's what I've seen a lot of people do.
Again, Vegas is a blast. It's the most entertaining place in the world. I love it majority than any other place in the world. But the thing about this place is there's a lot of shadiness that goes on there as well. So that's the point.
As in any big city.
Right.
You know, you're going to get your share in LA and New York and, you know, the big cities, Chicago. But if you can make your fun experience even better by not falling for one of these scams and feeling like, oh shit, or something ruining your trip like that, it makes it a little funner.
Yeah. The last one I want to talk about, which is a key one, resort fees. Okay. So it's not necessarily a scam. Majority of the properties in Las Vegas have resort fees. You know, with 2 not having them right off the top of my head, Golden Nugget and Virgin. Okay. But majority of these places are going to have them. You're going to pay it.
Right.
Let's talk about different ways that they can avoid this.
And you just showed me a video of a couple of YouTubers who had.
So some of the recommendations from that video was book hotels off the strip like Virgin with shuttles to the strip, which will get you back.
But that one's not bad.
Yeah, right. It's not too bad, no.
But some
the
of
other
them...
ones was like, hey, use your Hilton Honors points and that'll pay for your... Not everybody has Hilton Honors. And the other one being that booking through timeshare people, which I didn't know was a thing. Okay, so apparently if you book through the timeshares, they waive off the resort fees, but you have to attend the seminars.
And you still have to pay a hotel fee.
That's half as bad.
Right.
Just having to attend the seminar. Like, I'd
and
rather
there was
pay
a few
the
other ones that
There's some really bad videos, and that's why I wanted to do some of this stuff. Updated 2021 versions of people who actually go to these casinos frequently. We've been to Atlantic City, Biloxi, Philadelphia. I mean, all these different places that have gambling, Laughlin, you name it. We've been there, and we've noticed that Vegas, there's a lot of things to look out for. So when it comes to resort fees,
the common sense way to not pay resort fees, if you feel like you're a decent gambler, all you have to do is ask for a host at the casino that you're playing at and ask for your play to be evaluated. Mm-hmm. If they see that you're a decent player, that you like to play, and you're not there just to throw $20 in a machine, they're going to do everything they can to not only give you your room for free, but waive your resort fees and possibly do any other comps that they can do for you, because they want you to stay at their facility. They want you to stay at their casino, because the bottom line is the longer you stay at a casino, the odds are going to be in their favor. So that's all they want.
The more you're going to play.
The more you're going to play. That's all they want is for you to give them your time.
Yeah.
You could be the luckiest person on earth and walk away with 20 grand. They're still going to offer you free rooms, no resort fees the next time you come, even though you have $20,000 of their money. Because they know the more you go and the more you stay there and play with them, in the long run, casinos get it back.
Right.
You know,
and they want a shot at your money.
that's
and that's
all they
every
want a
property.
shot at. So you can have a free room with no resort fees if you are a decent gambler and giving them your time and cycling through money. Not you have to win it, not you have to lose it.
And we're gonna
We're
gonna do different videos on comps and the biggest misconception with comps and basically how you guys can benefit in using them a certain way. We haven't paid for hotels in
years.
And again, a lot of the stuff we've learned
together
is going through these different hotels, staying at different, but also we got to mention our folks over at Sorkfest. We learned how to, use some of these comps that we never used before.
Or at least ask for them.
Right.
We learned how to ask for them.
That's the big part, is go down and talk to a host. Every property has a host. They're
Has
always
multiple.
looking.
They have multiple hosts.
They are always looking for new players. They always want new players that are going to play. Now, again, this is where you guys need to keep in mind. Table games players versus slot players, okay? Slot players, you're going to build it up a lot faster. Now, if you're playing video poker, it takes a little longer because, again, slot players just build points dollar per dollar. That's just the way the slot machines work. So you're liable to get that resort fee waived off quicker by doing slots. So if you plan on staying a certain amount of days at one facility, definitely check in with the host after the first day and just say, hey, can you evaluate my play? That way I can my goal is to knock off my resort fee, basically.
And just a generalization. I believe like slots, they count dollar for dollar.
Yeah.
Video poker, they count 1 point for every $2 you put into a video poker machine. And if you're playing table games, they take by your average per bet.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're betting $25 a hand at blackjack and you're playing at least an hour or two, probably like 2 or 3 hours.
It's going to get averaged out.
It's going to get averaged out, yes.
That's what it comes down to.
So it takes a little longer if you do it. And especially they do it that way for table games, in my opinion, is because the odds are so much better at table games versus slots and video poker that they don't feel like they're going to have that advantage as much.
Now, when she says odds are so much better for the player, not for the casino. The casino has just amount as the same odds as the player. So that's the one game where they offer you the least compensation on the game.
Right. Because you have the best odds as the player.
Playing table games such as blackjack and craps.
And we got to give a shout out just because we're talking about hosts. The team at the Plaza, the hosts there, A-team.
100%.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them A-team.
So
I mean, it doesn't matter who you have, they are great.
A lot of these questions we'll be able to answer for you guys. We've learned from talking to these hosts, asking questions. I've done an interview with 2 of the hosts of the fellas down there at the Plaza.
Yeah. But the girls are just as good.
In December, we're lining up 2 of the ladies, and they are freaking awesome.
Yeah, the whole team down there. Yeah. I mean, and if you find a host you really like that works with you, that's awesome. But we know just interacting with the team, the whole team at the Plaza, the host, they're just genuine people.
And that's what I wanted to
you
talk
come
about.
to be like, hey, how are your kids?
Yes.
How is this?
It's
not just,
how's your
I need
play?
to get this. Yes.
It's what do you guys got going on this trip?
It's a family feel. Yes, it's really
genuine.
nice.
Yeah. So the Plaza hosts are just awesome. We have nothing but great things to say about them. Same thing down at Ellis Island. Just good people, always a conversation away. So the big thing with this one is just know that if you're going to go down there and give them some serious play, talk to a host.
Yeah.
Because more than likely you can get those resort fee waived off, and if you're playing enough, shockingly on slots, you can build it up fast enough to where you can probably knock your room fees off too. So
it's just an FYI, like you might get offers from your casino. It doesn't mean the host can't do better.
Oh yeah.
Like I still get my monthly offers from the Plaza, but if I call up my host and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna be in town this day. Can you help me out? They will usually just book me direct. I don't have to get online to do anything. And as long as you're playing, when you're there, they will comp out whatever they can. And, like our hosts are like, if you're playing and you're doing, your play is great, charge everything to the room and we will comp out whatever we can. Whatever we can do to help you out. If you are showing us that you're playing, they're going to try to take care of for you because that's how casinos work. They want you to stay in their building.
So again, get acquainted with the host, get to know them. It creates a friendship, it creates a bond, and every time you go down to the property, they're a text, a phone call away.
Yeah. And a lot of things we didn't know. Like, to the last 2 times, like, we never charged things to the room. We always just paid, like, you know, because, I mean, and, you know, like, a couple of those were like, dude, charge it to your room. Like, if we can take care of it, we will, you know.
And there's going to be a lot of tips and stuff we're going to be sharing with you guys in the future. But again, if you found any of this stuff beneficial, if you learned anything, found any of this valuable, do us a favor, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're going to come back with different videos. We're actually recording multiple right now of casino comps, misconceptions. We're doing how to approach a casino host, what that conversation looks like. And the one we're recording next, which I'm really excited about, is tips, tricks, recommendations for a first-timer visiting Vegas. So not only did we just do the scams video, we got a couple more videos to do where we want to start giving you what I feel is valuable information when it comes to Vegas on things to look out for, avoid, and expect.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you guys watching. Again, we are all about Vegas, all about learning as we go as well. So anything we can share that's valuable, we will definitely be sharing it. And again, let us know in the comments if you guys learned something new and which one you learned from watching this video today.
And if you have any questions, either put them in the comments or just send him a DM. We will be happy to find the answers for you.
Until the next video, folks.
Cheers.
Cheers. I do got to give a huge shout out to all of our Patreon members and supporters of the podcast and YouTube channel here. Thank you, folks. You folks are awesome. If you folks would like to get your name added to this list and your name shouted out on the podcast episode, you can definitely check out the Patreon link below in the description. Also, don't forget to engage with us on social media. And if you guys would like to know more about how some of the hosts work downtown in Las Vegas, definitely check out this video here. And until the next one, folks, cheers.